Australia's energy market operator says renewables will hit 100% in 2025. We're talking, well, less than a year and a half away. Not all day, but at many times of the day, we're going to hit 100%. And what does this mean for you if you live in Australia? Or in fact, not just Australia, but other countries, the US, Europe. Well, it changes the cost of everything. It changes how much it will cost you to charge an electric car drastically. Now, the key reason is this. Renewable energy is providing too much power to the grid. In fact, many grids worldwide are now being bombarded with too much renewables. However, what that means is electricity is often free. Not just free, but often now electricity suppliers will pay you to charge your EV. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Welcome to all the new subscribers. It's great to have you. Welcome back, everyone else. Solar hit a record of 71% across the entire country of Australia. All the experts said and have continued to claim a grid powered 100% by renewable energy simply doesn't work. It's not possible. Well, we now know that that's complete nonsense. We also know that solar energy would have hit a record of 83% across the entire country of Australia if the energy market operator hadn't have turned off a lot of the renewables at certain times of the day because they were afraid that they were going to send too much energy into the grid. So imagine in the future when these renewables are built out at about 200% capacity, which is what we plan on doing in most Western countries, because then we have enough for times when we don't have enough sun or enough wind. So 200% is the average figure we're going to build out to. That will mean there'll be so many times of the day and so many days where you can charge your EV for free. When have we ever been able to say that about gasoline? Never. Here are the actual numbers. Rooftop solar has smashed records in Australia, sending coal demand to the lowest point in its history. Now, the incredible thing is, like I said, that demand would have been even lower if a lot of the renewables hadn't been turned off. Rooftop solar, according to reneweconomy.com.au, has continued its incredible incursions into the business case for coal-fired power generation over the weekend. The reason Renew Economy is saying that is because most coal power plants, if they're operating, in fact, not most of them, based on Tony Sieber's information, where they've studied hundreds and hundreds of coal power plants, if they run at below 70% capacity, they make a loss. Now, obviously, the same is not the case for renewable energy. You don't need a bunch of people at a plant. There's all these operating costs involved with the coal power plant that you don't have with renewables. So what this means is the business case for coal power plants is getting worse and worse and worse. Records were smashed here in Australia on many consecutive days as renewables continued to recharge the grid and highlight how power now has shifted to the consumer. That's to you, which is quite a change versus the past. Records started tumbling on Saturday last week when a number of data providers noted that the share of rooftop solar on the national electricity market reached a record of 47%. That's solar only, nothing else. Most of that was rooftop solar from just ordinary people's homes. That beat the recent number, the recent benchmark of 44.3% set a year ago. Rooftop solar was generating 11,000 megawatts of power at that time. However, that was soon broken. In fact, the following day, rooftop solar grabbed an even bigger share at 47.3% of the entire Australian market, at the same time sending operational demand to a new record low of 12,000 megawatts according to the Australian Energy Market Operator, leaving the new low of 12,393 megawatts just a day earlier. Beating the new low, I should say. What does this mean? Well, it means that coal power plants are running at a loss. On both occasions, rooftop solar was eating into the output of coal-fired generators, sending black coal to record low outputs. Now, unfortunately, there's one little hiccup and one little problem here, which will be solved, but at the moment, it is a bit of an issue. Solar is not being stored. a lot of it is being wasted. Wind power as well, but in particular solar energy. And the reason is we don't yet have enough batteries here in Australia. It's the same problem in Europe. It's the same problem in America. It's the same problem in many countries around the world. But this is changing. The output of lithium-ion batteries, and not just lithium-ion batteries, but batteries that are perfect for energy storage like sodium batteries and iron flow batteries, has increased worldwide by more than 100% in the last 12 months. At the same time, lithium prices have collapsed, meaning batteries have become cheaper. And we're seeing enormous numbers of batteries being installed all over the world. Tesla's fastest area of growth by miles is battery storage. More than 1.2 gigawatts in Australia was being sucked up by pumped hydro and battery storage, which is pumped hydro is virtually like a big battery. And this was attracted by wholesale market prices of minus $64 per megawatt hour. The wholesale prices were negative for most of the day on several days in succession. Minus $64 per megawatt hour. Now imagine how many EVs you could charge, not just for free, but get paid to charge them. This is the future of the electric car industry. This is one of the key reasons that I think all these Muppets making these crazy predictions saying, we'll still only be maybe 50% coal, we'll still be at about 50% gasoline-powered cars in 2035. They're not considering the reality here, which is most countries around the world are going to be paying you to charge your EV within the next 5 years. So what actually happened was the combined output of commercial solar and rooftop solar hit 57%. That doesn't include wind or hydro. RenewEconomy.com says this: the rise of rooftop solar installed across households and businesses across the country, and this doesn't just include Australia, by the way, this is many countries, is one of the most profound changes to the grid. It is shielding many households and businesses from rising electricity prices, but is also becoming a major influence on the operations of large-scale generation, coal in particular, and in the way the grid is managed. So why are electricity prices going up when there's more energy coming from renewable sources than ever, by far more? Well, the reason is because these coal power plants are making a loss. Like I said before, they're running at below 70% generation capacity. They have to pass on these extra costs to the consumer. The faster we get rid of coal, the faster energy prices go down, and I mean way down. That's the reason that Oxford University took 200 different researchers. A number of years they spent on this project to discover the world will save $10 trillion if we can move towards renewable energy by 2050. That is a huge difference in output. Now here is a little peek into the future. On Saturday last week, rooftop solar, as in not commercial, just houses, hit a record of 99.2% of demand in South Australia, one of Australia's large cities, beating the 95% record set 2 years ago. In Western Australia, a place that's a little bit like Texas in some ways in terms of its isolation, it has no links, no electricity transmission links with other states or other cities. And it's the world's biggest standalone electricity network. Rooftop solar there hit a record share of 77%. That's just residential houses with solar panels on them. But what they're doing there is providing solutions so that they can routinely hit 100% and stay there. Western Australia is contracting a series of giant 4-hour batteries to soak up rooftop solar energy during the day and transfer the output to the evening peak. When you get home from work, you want to turn your air conditioner on because it's been hot or because it's been cold, you want to turn on your heating. That's when the demand is there. These batteries will power that demand in the evenings. If we include solar and wind together, the record now in Australia for the entire country is 71%, and that was set at 11:45 a.m. during the middle of the day. Now, unfortunately, the state of New South Wales and Queensland, they're kind of letting down the rest of Australia. Their generation output in terms of renewables is relatively low, but they're some of the sunniest places in the world. And considering the fact that solar panels and batteries have come down in price this year by 30%, a staggering number that I think no expert actually predicted correctly, It means the cost of those technologies is so much lower than what we expected, and therefore turning off coal power plants will simply happen much quicker than was previously anticipated. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Personally, I see the same exact scenario playing out across most of the world. Why do I say that? Because 90% of the world's population lives on the Sun Belt.